thank you very much for kicking us off there, and I should be in control. So welcome everybody. As was stated earlier, my name is Mike Giannotti, and I do encourage you as we're going through, I have the chat up over here. I've got my big screen over here and the slides here, but I'll be monitoring chat. You know, ask questions. We'd like to answer them along the way. Make sure you're getting those answered. I have a number of slides we're going to go through because we're talking licensing. So first, we're going to talk about the positioning of what Viva is, this suite, what we're doing with it. Then I'm going to get into the particulars around the seated and premium. What do you get? Like, I have Office 365 or Microsoft 365. What do I get with that, right? And then what's the premium? What does that look like? I will tell you, and I'm going to put the link in here right into the chat. Tomorrow, there will be additional announcements around this. So tomorrow is the Viva Summit. There are a ton of announcements. If you have not registered, do so. It is a free event. Even if you can't attend, do it so you'll automatically get the link to the recording after the fact. But a ton of stuff coming out, including some new licensing components that I cannot talk about today because there is an embargo. But I can talk about seated and premium, which will continue to be the case as we move forward. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to kind of walk through the slides, some of these rather quickly, but keep in mind as we talk about Microsoft Viva, we're talking about a platform. It's not just a single product. It is a platform, this employee experience platform that we've brought to life in Microsoft 365, delivering experiences across insights and well-being, learning and development, purpose and alignment, culture and communications, knowledge and expertise. And within those are a number of product modules that fit. I'm actually going to skip ahead and go to this next one. All of this that we're going to be talking about today, the seated and premium, we bring to you in the context of Microsoft Teams. That's important to note because Teams is our single pane of glass to get work done. Even in the case where some of these can be accessed elsewhere via, let's say, just a web page. So this morning I was showing somebody Viva Goals. We were having a demonstration around that, and they asked, do I have to go through Teams? And I said, well, you can go through just the browser. But the point is we want to simplify the employee experience, kind of as antithetical if you have an employee experience and you have lots of different things you got to go to separately. It's not quite an experience, right? Well, it is, but it's a bad one. So ours, we bring it all together smoothly right within Microsoft Teams. When we look at it, there's a couple of components that this is the suite today. There's also an additional one in fact, there we go, the build out for Viva Sales. But around this area of connections, we've got, and this will be a primary one that one of the ones we'll be talking about, how to connect with people. There's a variety of experiences here that are both seated and premium, and we'll be getting into that. Same with insights. We have goals or purpose, which is OKRs. We have growth with Viva Topics, Viva Learning. And the way that this all breaks out when we start to look at it, this is a high level. I'm going to give you a much more detailed view as well as a link to where you can see all that. The way it breaks out is this, roughly, right? Over here on the left, right, we have, and let me get a, here we go. We'll get the pointer going. There we go. Here on the left, well, that's kind of fun. Here on the left, we have the standard Viva capabilities. That's what they're calling them. You've probably heard if you were in meetings, seated, freemium, all kinds of names, but standard Viva capabilities in Microsoft 365. That means if you have a Microsoft 365 account, you have a subscription for your organization, these are things that you get. Not that you're getting the full capability necessarily of all of them, but you do get, we'll take a look at Viva Connections. You get a large portion of Viva Engage. You get things with Viva Learning as well as with Insights. And I'll walk through, there are fine, nuances around each one of these. I'll walk through so that you understand each one of those capabilities of what you get at what levels. But we do provide this in the standard. Then if you go over here, you can see there's much more, including with, like, for example, learning, right? There's much more that you get within the premium capabilities. So some of them, you get the whole thing, like connections, you just get, you get it, right? But then other areas like Engage or Learning, Insights, those ones, you get some with that seated or standard, and then the others come within the premium SKU. All right, so there we go. I skipped through some slides. I wanted to get to some actual, a little bit deeper content. So I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop. And I hope if you have questions right now, start posting them. It's all good. You can even, I might say, I'll tee that up because that's something I'm about to cover. But go ahead and post those. And I am going to come on over here. So there's that summit I was mentioning. Again, make sure you're registered. It's going to be huge. I got to see a preview of it yesterday, so I'm telling you, it's huge. All right. So how does this break down? I'm going to go through ad nauseum kind of here first to start off with the fine-grained features and such, and then we're going to kind of toggle into actually looking at the applications to see. So we're going to toggle back and forth. So starting off, this is the Viva pricing and plans. Now, it's important to note, if you're a Microsoft customer, if you're an HLS customer, this is the standard public pricing. This isn't your pricing. So please keep that in mind as we're talking about this. But looking from premium, the Viva Suite, to the included, the first thing you'll note is that we have full inclusion of Microsoft Viva Connections. That includes Viva Connections 1.0 and 2.0. And what do I mean by that? Let's come on over here where we have a portal up and running. We're in Microsoft Teams, and we are in Viva Connections Home, that new portal home entryway for all things Viva, your employee experience, enabled here with no dependencies on you having done anything with SharePoint, home sites, none of that. Doesn't depend on any of it. You own it if you have a contract with Microsoft for Microsoft 365 in its entirety. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Jonathan's right on the ball. So you own this component. You can deliver navigation to the other elements all from a single icon, right? So learning, Insights, Engage, that we're going to all be looking at. You get the dashboard and everything. You also own, if you so want to use this, that portal instantiation. If you're doing a home site where you do want to use modern framework of SharePoint and you want to include things like the Viva dashboard and other elements from there, guess what? You own that. You own Connections in its entirety. Would adaptive cards be widely available on SharePoint online pages? So today, you'll get that in your home site. There are announcements coming. I don't know if they're talking about those tomorrow, but there is expansion. We've publicly talked about this. There will be expansion, and you can use additional dashboards. But yes, so adaptive cards, widely available. If you take adaptive cards that you're doing for Teams today, Joy, then you can actually go and cross-publish them into SharePoint, right, into the App Store for it, and then make those available to something like this dashboard here, right? So real quickly, one last time, if you're looking for Viva Connections, the home, if you have a Microsoft 365 contract, you own this. All you need to stand it up is Teams, And I'm actually going to be uploading a video I just recorded with Microsoft Fast Track. If you have an account with Microsoft, you have an account team, talk to the account team or log into your Fast Track. Check our blog later because, and Jonathan, you put the link to the blog. I'll have that up. We actually have a whole Connections Home Pilot offer that we're offering to our customers through Fast Track. We'll do a 3-week engagement to get you piloted and then up and running. So there we go. And it can be longer than 3 weeks. 3 weeks is kind of, or you can do it shorter, but they have that offer for you. And you have rights to it because you have a contract with us. So that's the home piece. That's the first one I want to talk about. Next, as we start to move on, then we get into the various areas. So you can see here, we've got a full check mark for Viva Connections. Then we look at Viva Engage, and it's not a full one. This is one of those ones where we say there is standard and premium features, right? Standard features are, again, if you have a Microsoft 365 contract, the standard features you'll get. So if I click this and open that up, you can see here we have a bunch of features available to you. Create and join employee communities. This will sound familiar, some of this. Post and pin announcements. Start a variety of conversation types. Find insights. The reason why this might sound similar, Engage is the evolution of Yammer, right? It is Yammer with a whole slew of new capabilities, but all those core ones are still there. Posting questions, crowdsourcing solutions, create and follow storyline posts. I'll show you that in a moment. Create and find and follow stories. It's the other areas where we have, for example, Viva Answers, where we have Leadership Corner, publishing story posts on behalf of other users, creating and managing organizational campaigns and doing metrics and tracking. All that kind of stuff is part of the premium. But let's take a look at what this looks like as far as what you get. So here we are, and we're again in Viva Connections Home. And if I click on Viva Engage, in this particular instance, we have it set up so that all we're seeing is those elements that you own if you have a 365 contract. I'll show you some of the others in a moment, but right from here, you can see I can start conversations, ask, and people can comment, and we can have, things back and forth. People can they can share, right? They can write comments here. We have this capability around communities, just like, and it brings your Yammer communities forward and brings them into Engage. And so here I can join ones, I can interact with ones, I can look at the ones I have and do all the things you would do in communities before, asking subject matter experts questions and things of that nature. Finally, we have this feature that's a new one with Engage. It's called Storylines. And a storyline, it kind of tells you here, it's where people share their updates and experiences. For example, I manage the blog that Jonathan put a link to. Whenever I post there, I share it on my storyline. Hey, I just put a new post around that. And it's funny because some of my posts have caught the attention internally of product groups because it all becomes then part of that Microsoft graph now, right? And then people can cut through organizational silos, say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? So I had one just as an example around MP3 usage in learning and how to do actual set up a podcast type effect with Viva Learning. And they're like, wait a minute, what? Because they didn't know you could actually use MP3s. The product team didn't know. I was like, well, I was too dumb to know different. And so we went through the whole scenario, and it was a great opportunity to connect and network. Why? Because I shared the story of what I had done. But stories can be about things that all kinds of things that you do. And again, we try to make it simple. You can come in, click, you can type, certainly. You can attach things. but we also provide for the medium of video. Yeah, that's me, Taylor. I really am too dumb to know any different. That is how I get through life. But here you can see I have create, and that create takes me for video. We do, kind of put a carburetor or, some corrals around that. Certainly with stream, you can put very large videos, but we want these to be short and poignant. So when you come in here, it gives a little bit of an explanation around it, right? How people, they can follow, they can see you, things can bubble up. Note though, when I upload into stories, if I upload, same applies to my recording, I get 1,800 seconds. So short, quick, think of TikTok and Instagram reels and things of that nature. That's what they're targeting, that, but around workplace stories. And if you click something like record, we make it. My camera is not available right now, so I'll close it. We'll come back because I'm using it here. But when you click that, you have the option to either record yourself, so a video like my little video that's on here right now, or to do a screen recording. And I had a customer ask today that very question. I want my users to easily create short videos around how-tos that they know how to do. Like, hey, there's this new thing in Excel that I figured out. Here's a great feature, or here's how I might do this or that. And it had to do with screen recording and sharing that with others, right? That tacit knowledge capture. It's out of the box. You get that. So you're getting all these elements, the storyline, communities, and then that home feed here where you can see where people are posting, again, engage them, comment, etc. That's that part of that standard or seeded out of the box features that you get. If you don't see it, it's because IT hasn't turned it on or enabled it, but that is there. And if you have a 365 contract, I highly encourage using this. Can you restrict which users can create stories? So right now, stories is org enabled. There might be some things within Tune that I'm not aware of. From what I have seen to date right now, and again, there may be announcements tomorrow, but we are quickly iterating, and that question is certainly, it's not the first time I've heard it asked. So definitely on user feedback, put that there. I will actually pass that along too. I'm going to pull these questions up. I'm going to pass that along to the team. But that is something that's been asked. Right now, though, when you enable it, it's on. So it's on or off the video component. It is important to note that the videos themselves, forgot to mention this, they don't count against your tenant storage because it goes into OneDrive, right? So it's going into their individual OneDrive and then being permissioned. So that's how that's handled here as an individual. All right, let's go on back to our capabilities. So that's for Engage. Engage, a lot of great stuff around it. Next up is Microsoft Learning. This is one that, again, if you own the rights to this stuff, and I can't emphasize it enough, I'm going to come on back here. You should turn on your home, talk to Fast Track, get this, because those standard features for learning, for Engage, and then we'll take a look at Insights. If you have access to them, you should be leveraging them because it's great value. And then you can still provide like a dashboard tailored to your users. That's a whole separate video, but you can provide some great value and really show innovation to your users. And then as you iterate and update and add additional modules and et cetera and functionality, you're going to get all that. PSA, if you want to block Yammer Engage, for better or for worse, you need to limit the license. That's correct. Yep. Otherwise, users can sneak in and blast a storyline, updates the entire org. Oops. Yes. Thank you. That is true. So I'm just going to be talking licensing today, though. That's a whole separate. We could talk on how to enable, disable, and do certain things for hours, and I have with customers. So the next piece we want to take a look at is learning. And learning I love, because out of the box, you get the ability here with learning, right, to have Viva Learning in Teams. Yeah, we get that. Access the full Microsoft Learn and Microsoft 365 training libraries. I'll talk about the LinkedIn stuff in a minute with a caveat around that. But the Teams and the 365 training, that's almost 5,000 modules of Microsoft training that you own. So if you want to have, you know, how do I use Teams? How do I use Viva? How do I, it's that training is all in there and you own it. You could just give it to your users, right? They need to learn how to do something. They're struggling around how to do a spreadsheet or how to do this in PowerPoint or whatever. All, how to, with development, all the development stuff that we offer around that. There's almost 5,000 modules. I can't stress that enough. You can give that to your users. The LinkedIn, it says 125 LinkedIn learning courses, the top 125. That does change. If you turn on LinkedIn Learning, though, understand it'll show all the courses. They're going to be trimming them, but that's where that's at. So it'll show, but it'll show like a lock. They can't access. So that's up to you. But if you have LinkedIn subscriptions, they actually will light up and all work, and you'll get all that. Search and share and chat about learning content. This is great. So search and share and chat right now with learning. First of all, the ability to search across those modules. Like, let's say, let me get back to the home here. Let's say you're looking for something around Microsoft Excel, right? And you want to learn more about Excel. You can quick search. Boom, hey, Excel 2010 training, Excel macros and VBA for beginners. And then you can go ahead and you can filter, you could add additional parameters, but you could get to that kind of content, provide that for them very quickly and easily here with the search capabilities out of the box. Chat and conversations is another area. So for example, if I come over here to chat, here's Dr. Judy Jameson, and you can see here, I shared with her a learning. We have confirmed with the PG the answer. Oh, can you restrict? Oh, thank you. There you go. Coming at some point, but no ETA. That's what I thought. So the only other option is to turn this off for users. Don't love that? Turn it on. No, that's a business decision. I love video, and I find it really compelling for work, not play. But here we go. So you can see I shared one, but it's as easy as this. Again, all those modules, maybe this person asked me about the Excel, right? Hey, I don't know. Do you know how to do this in Excel? And I say, I don't know, but hey, let me take a look here. Let's do a search on Excel. And it's now doing that same background search. And so I'm going to say, check this one out, right? And I can go ahead and share that with them, and boom. Now they have a direct link to that training module. So you can do that in chat and conversations here, which is a beautiful thing. Create learning tabs in team channel. This is another one. I love this. I love this. I love this. I have that for some of the teams that I manage. But if I come on up here, let's say I go to a team, and here we go, this pediatric care. You can see I created a tab, because add a tab, and you own this. Add a tab, you click Viva Learning. I'm not going to go through the whole piece. Once you do that, you can either search from the catalog, add multiple entries. You can also update, as well as bring your own content. Let's say for your team, you want to point to resources that are out there in SharePoint land throughout your org. you can do so with Bring Your Own. So this is a great way to create a curated wall that you can always update. You just click Add New. As the owner of a team, it requires ownership. But again, you get all this with that standard view. It's a beautiful thing. Coming on back, then as you go down below, right, recommended content and track report completion progress. So all the metric stuff on the back end, that is all part of that premium, right? Integration with partner content partners, integration with learning management. You may have one or more. I have a couple of customers with multiple learning management systems. And so if you want to integrate them, those are available. I'll show you that back end in just a second, and we'll show you how all this kind of looks. Surface learning content in Microsoft Search across Bing, Microsoft 365, and SharePoint. Last thing that you also get, and I forgot to mention this, with the standard, and then I'm going to show you the back end around this, is the ability to pull in SharePoint content. So for example, I'm going to come on back here. This is a website, SharePoint online site, where we went ahead and I've added a bunch of video content. We actually, if I go into site contents, you'll see we've got, here we go, EMR Snacks is one of our libraries, and there was a folder set up. We're dropping in videos that we want to make available for training. You can do just-in-time training with the standard offering. You set up the structure, you make sure it's pointing over here, and then when somebody comes in to Viva Learning, and come on back here to the home, I'm going to go to providers instead of just searching. You can see here Smarter Health. That is homegrown. And here's one of those EMR snacks showing up, right? Where it shows up just like anything else coming out of a learning management system or whatever. And then people can go in, access it, start to play it. And I'll stop it right there before it starts talking. But you can provide that kind of training, and that can be a video, it can be audio, it could be an MP3, it could be a document like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF. We don't really care. Great way to extend it. Again, all part of the standard. So a lot you can do with Learning Standard. And if you're not, you're leaving opportunities for your users on the table where you could provide some pretty valuable things. So there's a lot more that we can do within learning, and just kind of to show you, I'm going to come over here into the back end of our tenant admin. I'm going to click the Viva Learning. It's under settings, org settings. And in this particular instance, come on, there we go. You can see here all the areas that I can enable to integrate into my learning. So out of the box, with standard, you get Microsoft Learn, Microsoft 365 Learning. To expose them, it's just a checkbox. You get SharePoint. It's a checkbox and point to where you want the catalog to be. And then LinkedIn Learning, if you want the 125 free, you click that. But then outside of that, there are tons of other places like, Udemy, Udacity, SuccessFactors from SAP, Skillsoft, Pluralsoft, Saba Cloud, Josh Burson Academy, Infosec, Coursera, edX, etc. There's a wealth of things available for you, but those are all part of premium because we pay for those connectors to connect to these other data sources. That's learning. If you have questions about that, pop them in, because I'm going to go on to the next. Viva Insights. Now, this one's a little different. With Viva Insights, if you have E3 licensing, you have access to what we call personal insights, the My Insights. And I'll show you what that looks like. But personal insights tells you all about, how you're doing, your time managing things. And so you can turn that on for people. I find it super valuable because I get slammed for doing different things all the time, and it allows me to do things like, set focus time that blocks everybody out. So Brenda can't. I see Brenda. I'm picking on her. Brenda can't start pinging me and saying, "Hey, those messages will hold, and I'll see them afterwards." But I don't get alerts and all that. It allows me to shut the world out. And so I can get Viva Insights with that, inline suggestions, personal insights in a daily briefing email and semi-monthly digest mail. All that comes to me. What it doesn't cover are what we call manager insights that allow them to see the health of a team and all that goes along with that, and organizational. So those are very valuable components for managers and for executives to really have their pulse on the org. But those come with the premium, paid fees. Having said that, let's take a look. So if I come on back here, I'm going to go on back. Insights, here we go. And so with Insights, if I have the E3 SKU available and we turn it on, you get this out of the box if you turn it on for your user. So for example, recommended to you, number one, I can see praise sending, but we have here promote healthy team meeting norms, make time for messages, disconnect with quiet time. This is actually for evenings. I don't know about you, but I have Teams on my phone. And sometimes there are people who think they can message me at 9 at night when I'm reclining with my dog and my wife and kicking back, binge watching the latest on Netflix or some other series. And so the ability to set a quiet time so that I'm not interrupted, right? That's provided for in here. You can see things around setting virtual commute reminders. I have mine set every day at 4:30. Helps me wrap up my day and get set for the next day. And I get it on my phone because a lot of times I'm not standing right here at that time, right? So you get that. Focus, this is one of my favorite, is setting up focus time. But the ability, again, to block time off is huge. We have things around looking at your progress, scheduling emails for later. Let's see, for some reason, let's give it a refresh. My connection here seems to be lagging. Let's come on back into Insights. Well, I will go into my other tenant. We'll do it from here. All right. That's a shared tenant with a bunch of people, and they're doing dev in it actively. All right, here we go. So, I can do things around well-being, right? Schedule a team no meeting day plan. That's, we have things of that nature. Setting your daily focus plan. When you set that, boom, we'll reserve up to 2 hours. That's an automatic setting. I can click change setting, so I can then set it a custom parameter for what I need, and it's going to automatically go in and do things for me. Would you prefer this in the morning or afternoon? I could say afternoon. Don't schedule time, earlier than. Would you like Teams reminders? This is a great feature, and I set up time every week so that I can make sure I can tune everybody out and get work done. So that's a huge thing. I highly recommend it, especially, roll this out for people, give them that capability. It's a beautiful thing. Here you can see focus plan, no focus time, and I can see where it is, and again, change the settings here. There's some act with intention, right? So I can go and work better. It's talking about focus mode. That allows me to do it right on the fly. So get out of there. Right from here, I can go ahead, click, and enter focus mode. So I didn't have to schedule it. And again, it'll shut the world out for me and allow me to tune in. Yes, the demo gods, they struck me in the shared demo tenant. This one's mine, so I can do whatever I want here. So there we go. So there's a number of things to do. We also have, prompts that you can set up to have people, hey, folk, do you need downtime? And they have things for this, like how you can go ahead and meditate and all. I don't do that. For me, I go out and throw the ball with my dog. That's my kind of getaway. But a lot of stuff to be gleaned just by having Microsoft Insights for personal. And again, if you have E3 and above, you own it. So why wouldn't you turn it on and make it available right here in that single pane of glass within the Viva Connections home? Coming on back, let me go back to here. I think we have just about covered it. Yeah. So the others, Viva Topics, it's a premium, either standalone pay or part of the suite. Viva Goals, same thing, standalone or part of the suite. Viva Sales, it's part of the suite, or excuse me, it's available as an add-on. So that's how it breaks out. It's fairly straightforward. This particular link, I'm going to place this here, copy and paste. I don't remember. I think I did put it, but again, it's online. It's probably one of the best overviews of that particular piece. So take a look. See, Jonathan came on in video.
Yep, just right. I mean, if you didn't know about seated versus premium, I think you do now. Did you have a few more topics you wanted to cover?
I think I had some resources. You want to pull, you want to pull up the slides again? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, again, tomorrow at the Viva Summit, there are going to be some separate, because we've had asks around, look, I don't want the whole suite. I just want some of this or this, some logical groupings. Tune in. There will be announcements around that. And there'll be some, on the one hand, I'm always torn. Like, we want to give flexibility and meet customer needs, but then on the other hand, then there's more permeations of how you can get things. So we always err on the side of options for our customers. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, let me get in here. I'm going to quickly.
There we go.
I'm going to take control. I'm going to skip ahead. Hey. There we go. Now I'm getting it. Okay. So there's a couple of things to take a look at, and these are links in here that you might want to look at. Number one, here's that same link that I've put multiple times in the chat window. Also, just check out what is available. All this is changing rapidly. Like Viva Amplify, we didn't even talk about that. It's coming. I have customers in preview with it. It's awesome, but it's part of that one of the that paid SKU, right? But see what's coming, see what's out there. Tune in tomorrow, and then as you look to things like Viva Connections Home that you own, take a look at not only our adoption resources, but talk to your fast track people. Again, I'm going to have a post on our blog shortly after this. I just uploaded the video just before this session. I recorded with them, and they were showing like the Connections Home pilot that they do, that you have rights to have them deliver because you bought a subscription. They have a service that's already paid for as a part of it. So, take advantage, take a look at the resources, not only that we can provide you for, doing yourself and looking at this, but also Fast Track has a range of POCs. We have partners that have them. And above all, talk to your account team. Please talk to your account team. We want to help. We have things that we can bring to bear, so be sure to do so. And then finally, last, again, I'll say it again. There it is. There's a link. Attend tomorrow's event. Even if you don't attend live, sign up for it so you'll get the link to it automatically, so you can go to it after. With that, I know you have some things that you want to cover. And I know this wasn't the most exciting one. We're talking licensing. Usually when I hear licensing, this is me. Ah, la, 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 la. I want to run away. I'm the tech guy. But there you go.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. That was, I mean, awesome, right? Like I said before, if you didn't know about seated versus premium, you certainly do now. Everything, that was a lot, right? It was a lot of information that Mike gave. We put a lot of those links in the chat window. Obviously, everything that we're doing now is being recorded. So if you want to go back and kind of slow down and listen to it and really kind of dig in on, what is seated versus premium, please go ahead and do that. One last thing here for us, a couple of things before we kind of wrap up. Do I have the right? No, I have the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Give us some feedback, right? So if you guys could fill out the survey here. So a couple of things, Sarah, Jonathan, and myself, we put a lot of effort into this, and we want to make sure that the content that, is being delivered is the right information that we're delivering. And so if you can fill out that survey, we would greatly appreciate it. And you can win some really cool prizes. And then last, stay connected with us, right? So all of the information that Michael, just spoke about, all of the videos, not only just today's videos, but also some previous sessions, right, with the summit, is all going to be put up on the blog, right, our Health Life Science Community Connections blog there. So we appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us. Michael, thank you so much. I guess I'll call out any last questions from anybody.
Yeah, somebody was asking about the adoption scorecard in admin. There is a unified view, a more unified view around Viva that's, I shouldn't say anything. So I think I've already said that. I don't know, maybe I'll get in trouble today. But there is a more unified view. You'll see some of that